I really wanted to like this show. I really did. Now, before you type up, but, please watch this entire damn video. Just to let you know, I'm not trying to shit on any fans, and if you like the show, then you do you. Okay, but the real topic is, do I even have to explain myself why the show is bad? Just watch any 6 episodes in the first season and tell me how this isn't campy and cheesy and filled with every high school cliche ever. Now, is this show completely unenjoyable? No. But is there massively lost potential and is it completely overrated? Yes. They could have put more variety in their episodes so it doesn't get dull and predictable after 2 episodes. They could have found a way to make the villain feel like a serious threat. Seriously, I feel no suspense because I already know how everything's gonna go because they use the same episode formula all the time. They could have come up with creative, more interesting reasons for people to get upset instead of using Chloe as a plot device for like the 50th time. They could have concentrated on the actual show instead of simultaneously working on all this stupid shit no one asked for. If they did all that, if they actually tried, this could have made way for a really great and smart show, but they just didn't do that. It seriously could have been great, but now we just get this standard Enemy of the Day series which grows old so quickly. Some parts of the writing is good, but most of the time it's the same predictable format each and every time and it just gets more and more dull. No one in Paris asks any questions. It's bland, rushed, and I can't name another show that recycles this much animation and plot points. It really does feel like all the episodes were churned out in a short time span. Okay, but you might think, but dude, even though a good chunk of the fans are adults, it's just a kids show. Listen, just because it's a kids show doesn't excuse shit writing. Like, you gotta be treating kids like absolute dumb fucks for them to never question why Adrian would think Chloe is actually a ladybug instead of Marinette despite the fucking hairstyles. A show that emphasizes how they gotta hide their identities all the time can't even bother trying to make Marinette transform in an actual hiding spot. And Marinette has like this really quirky hairstyle. There's no other person in Paris with dark blue hair, bangs, pigtails, blue eyes, earrings. So why is it that her best friend, who adamantly tries to find out who Ladybug is, never pieces together these 2 pieces of information? I see all these fans coming up with theories as to why no one ever realizes Ladybug is Marinette, but the real answer is, it's just bad writing. They don't care. They think the kids won't find this weird because they don't think kids have a brain. And okay, this might all seem petty, but the worst thing that happened in the franchise is this one creepy and racist official Ladybug comic in the 3rd issue that I'm not even sure if people are aware of this because holy shit! Marinette, a girl who's 13 or 14, de-transforms and she's naked in a dark alley. And when has she ever de-transformed naked in the show? What the hell? That never happened in the show. This is already a bad situation. Then this guy comes out of nowhere in front of this naked child, and even worse, they have this one panel in this weird angle of the guy looking down at her. Who wrote this? She goes up to a group of black men and immediately assumes they're looting and that they're gonna kill her. Also, one of the men is named Ghetto Blaster. I shit you not, this actually happened! Zactoon thinks it's scary for episodes to take place during the night, and they're okay with this in an official comic. Listen, I understand that there's supposed to be more context, like Chloe stole her clothes or something, but still, how can anyone read this and not be like, what in the fuck? It's as if a group of publishers looked at this and said, yeah, that looks totally alright, no one's gonna look at this and be weirded out. This is a normal situation for a little girl to be in. There's no sexual undertones being projected at this comic. This is something kids should read. And yes, you bet your ass the creator actively dismisses this. Holy shit. I would ignore how bad the show is if it weren't for the fact it is so goddamn popular. But I don't hate the fans, because frankly some of the things the fans make are infinitely times better than the actual show. Plus, there seems to be a lot of unprofessionalism. Like, the executives don't know how to get episodes out on time, and they're constantly trying to shoehorn other side projects that no one asked for. There's so many other kids cartoons that execute what this show has, but infinitely better. You want a show that balances superhero and high schooler life? Watch The Spectacular Spider-Man. You want a proper, solid, emotional narrative with daddy issues? done infinitely better by Avatar: The Last Airbender. Want a Netflix show with good 3D animation that doesn't lose its budget in the second season? Just watch Troll Hunters. All of these things offer so much more than Ladybug. The only thing the other shows can't offer is a love square, so naturally everyone has to turn to Ladybug for its horny shipping needs, and honest to god, that's the only reason why the show is so popular. And guess what? All these shows, they're rated Y7, just like Ladybug, so don't use that, it's a kid show, so it's okay for it to be shitty bullshit excuse with me. I know season 2 is still not done and it could get better, but when is that ever coming back? Probably never. Because, frankly, it seems SAG2 never gives itself proper deadlines and has to delay season 2 like 7 times. Now that is just downright unfair to the fans. If the fans weren't so horny for shipping, then they all would have stopped giving a shit about this show. Even so, everything has still pretty much remained in the status quo. I think one big plot flaw is that the show is so scared of doing anything outside the status quo and it can't live up to its full potential. The saddest part about this is that it could have been really good. Ladybug is an example of a genuinely interesting premise for a show with poor execution, and it has a story that is being dragged out for too long. At this point, it kind of feels like they're making and adding more new characters that usually only appear in one episode, never to appear again, just so they can drag it for, like, 10 seasons. That also causes the plot to be dragged out for too long, so nothing feels natural anymore. SAG2 took this fantastic idea for a superhero show, then made it more kiddie to be more marketable, because they think being marketable is treating kids like dumb. Fantastic premise, fantastic love square dynamic, terrible execution in every way possible. The Ladybug anime PV is a slice of what the show could have been if it didn't have the impression that the viewers are complete dumbasses. Like, wow, I can take the threat in the city seriously, how surprising. It's such a sad waste of potential. Listen, I understand the show isn't made for me or anyone over the age of 12, but I'll be damned if I didn't say there was some serious lost potential, that people have praised the show way more than it deserves, because I rarely hear people criticizing the show, as most people naturally overfocus on the love square and ignore every plot point ever. When I watched this, I was constantly under the impression that they did the bare minimum for this premise because they think that's what good shows are. But it's such a shame these great characters and this great concept of a story is put in the hands of poor writing and people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. My only hope is if this is going to be like other superhero franchises and gets multiple installments, then somewhere in the distant future, some other more competent people would reboot the show and give these characters the compelling story they deserve. Ah, shit. The box is positioned in a way that the guy can fully see her tits.